welcome to Borgcast 15.4, the Picard number 4, with Anne-Marie and...
Peter, hello. You alright? We have some...
Previously on Star Trek Picard.
And it's Purry feeding back on The End is the Beginning.
Hello Orgs, Parry here to talk about Picard Episode 3, The End is the Beginning. Late feedback as always, and just for clarification, I have seen this, I'm recording this after listening to your feedback, so I won't try to retread too much old stuff. Suffice to say, yes, I agree with a lot of people, love to see Vasquez Rocks playing Vasquez Rocks. I like the way they're kind of bringing a team together now. We're getting an impression of our crew. You know, we have Picard, we have, the captain, was it Reyes? You see, I'm now just thinking Rio because of your song there. And all his hologram versions, which I found quite cool. Interesting looking ship. I need to see more of it to pass judgment. It's interesting to me to see a non-Federation but non-other government ship, so kind of a civilian ship, if you like. And I think this is one of the things that I'm enjoying about the series, is seeing the civilian side of Starfleet, of the Federation. My theories about how the economics of the future work are being pushed to the limits here. I am wondering, Raffi, so I did like the idea that there was collateral damage to Picard's stance, his standing up for his principles basically went, yeah, but she got sacked, so he got to resign and hold his principles. She then got turfed out of Starfleet, effectively. I took that she was kind of, rather than she was sacked and having to live in a shed somewhere, I kind of took that as her option, because she's kind of she basically detached from humanity and kind of went out and hid in the desert. That my theories about how that works are being stretched quite hard. I thought, I agree with you, the brother-sister thing's creepy. I've got two sisters, and trust me, we do not behave in that sort of close way. Quite often a wave or maybe a gentle hug is about as close as it gets. Frankly, as a brother and sister, they were not trading nearly as many insults or making jokes about their parents. Overall, I'm kind of interested in how this is going. I do wish we'd brought the two Romulan, as two Romulan housekeepers and number one with them. That's a disappointment that they're not coming. I think like I say, I've said before, I'm interested in where this is going. If you want my my crackpot fan theory of the day, it is that Agnes has been persuaded to join Picard by Commodore O. Now, this might be a hint that she'll actually be working for Commodore O. I personally don't want to see her kind of be the turned traitor. I think it should be a thing of Commodore O kind of fooled her into it, but there is also part of me thinking that she showed up awfully conveniently with a gun outside Picard's house. I actually should really watch the scene again to see if there was a reason why there'd be a discarded weapon lying out there. Also, Picard's got a lot of guns lying around. Iona pointed this out. She said, what? Are there guns under every table in Picard's house? Because there were a lot of guns under tables. I half expect to see number one come rushing in with two rifles strapped to him, guns blazing, which again would have been kind of cool. The spaceship that they're on, I think I did say I'd be interested to see a civilian ship. So overall, I'm now looking forward to where we're going from here. Also, the Borg stuff's interesting. The idea that an individual disrupted the cube, that the woman they were talking to is actually the reason why the cube dissipated, and that there is some sort of ancient prophecy, although again, I hope the ancient prophecy is just kind of coincidental kind of things and nothing to do with actual prophecy, because again, that's not really Star Trek territory. But yep, as always, good stuff, so do keep up the good work, and I'll hopefully feedback on the next episode. Until then, bye for now.
Bye, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I don't know whether Commodore O has persuaded Agnes to join, blackmailed her, made her.
I think she hypnotised her, hence the shades.
Oh, is that it?
Hypno-shades.
Okay. Right. Okay. In terms of the number of guns under the table, yes, it's a lot, but they've been known that attack might come for a while. So even if he doesn't normally have guns under tables, I think he would have beefed up his defences, wouldn't he?
Bearing in mind they're both ex-Tal Shiar, I guess they probably brought some of their guns with them. Yeah. Is my suspicion.
Yeah, and the idea of number one with guns strapped to him, that would make him a gun dog, wouldn't it?
Oh. Thank you. Yeah, a prophecy can work in Star Trek if the person who's fulfilling the prophecy has been programmed to do it. So that's a possibility, considering she's an android.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yes, this week we get more team building.
Yeah.
And more on Incest Watch as well.
Oh.
Which is, not what we wanted, really.
No, we didn't want to be doing Incest Watch.
And that would have a jingle. Anyway. So, tonight's episode, Absolute Candor, a.k.a. Romulan Battle Nuns. Oh, yes.
But the Kira sector is in the Fenris Rangers territory.
Was. The Rangers just do not have the resources to keep up with the chaos out there anymore.
Also, Vashti is a hotbed for the Romulan rebirth movement. But you're just gonna drop in and pick yourself up a nun?
Okay, well now somebody has to tell me what we're talking about.
JL wants to hire an assassin.
They are not assassins and you can't hire them. The Kawat Malat have to choose you.
Romulan warrior nuns.
That's a real thing? How bizarre.
We have another 14 years ago flashback, this time to a Romulan relocation hub, which turns out to be called Vashti later on. Excuse the noise, we've got a dog all over us at the moment, never mind. The music throughout this episode, excellent. Vast improvement. Don't know if it's a different composer or just the composers brought their A game to this particular episode, but I really like it. It's a lovely sort of running theme throughout. Yes. Excellent stuff. Also some fantastic maps as well, looking at this world that the Romulans are on, particularly the temple with glorious views out the back, and it's the way it's built around a tree. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Very elf-like.
Yes,
isn't
they are. Yeah, bigging up the Romulans are Trek's elves in this, aren't they? Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody said that the new character's Elrond, basically. It's a bit young for that, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's Legolas then.
Yeah, that would make more sense. But anyway, I don't think he's quite so popular, is he? It's nice to be off Earth as well. I feel more like Trek now.
Oh, they had a space battle as well.
Oh yes. Picard beams in looking like the man from frickin' Del Monte.
Oh, what is
come
he?
to collect their oranges. Del Monte was an orange drink from years back, by the way. I don't know whether they still do fruit juice these days, but yes, the advert had a guy in a suit just like that.
It takes well over a year for a pineapple to reach perfect ripeness. The man from Del Monte knows that moment.
The man from Del Monte says yes.
And it's got pockets. The whole Trek thing never had pockets.
Pockets are back as well as buttons. Yeah, later on, Picard actually has his hands in his pockets. So yeah. Oh well, they've made a comeback. He's actually de-aged in this, and was in the previous flashback in the previous episode as well. But I never noticed in the previous episode until somebody puts something up on Tumblr, because it's really well done. It's not in your face. It's only when somebody points out he's looking younger there, you go, oh yeah, so he is. So well done for the effects on that. It's fantastic. And somebody put a picture up the de-aged Patrick Stewart from X-Men 3. Oh my life, we've come a long way since those days.
Yeah.
Anyway, we discover there's an order of Romulan nuns serving their fellow refugees, which is brilliant, and they're warrior nuns, which is even more amazing.
Yeah.
Picard has got over his discomfort around children, which is a nice progression. It's not the same Picard from Next Generation, and quite right too. He's being a father figure to young Elnor.
Which I keep wanting to say is Eleanor, but that's not right.
It's the name of a local hospice, so no. And the captain is still into fencing, which is a nice callback.
Yeah.
It's very sad when he gets called away because of the synth attack, because you know he's not going to be seeing them again for a long while.
Yeah.
Then during the credits, we're told that this is directed by one Jonathan Frakes. And a pretty good job he makes of it as well. Agnes chats to Rios, finding out that he's a fan of Klingon opera. And Raffi is cheesed off because they're taking a pit stop on their way to, what was it called? Star City or whatever it was. Yeah.
Was it Cloud City? No, that's not Cloud City. No,
wrong franchise.
Oh, God, what was it called? It's the gambling place.
The gambling place.
With the clit.
Yes, no, not the Blake 7-1.
I am as eager to get to Free Cloud as you.
Freak out! You freak, says she. Freak out! Freak out! You freak, says she. Freak out!
Picard is chatting with the EHH, the Emergency Hospitality Hologram. What kind of emergency do you need that for?
He says we don't get many hospitality emergencies.
No.
Why would you?
This one, if you're watching, I think it's got a United Statesian accent of some sort. But anyway, Rios hates him enough to drop the F-bomb, so we know Doreen won't be happy. He's recreated Picard's study holographically, so he can kind of take the chateau with him, which is interesting, I suppose. And more exciting than just a room on the ship, I guess.
Yeah.
They're heading to Vashti, which is the hub we saw at the beginning. Apparently, it's gone to frack, though, since they were left out in the cold by the Federation. And some warlord is now terrorising everyone with an antique bird of prey. Ooh. Picard wants to enlist a Romulan warrior nun, because, of course, you would. He wants to go back one more time, a reminder that he's on borrowed time. We're told about the orbital defence system around Vashti, and that they're not impressed that Picard is back. And yes, this is the point where he's got his hands in his pockets. Rios suggests a bribe, and I guess there's no reason why this society shouldn't have money, so that kind of works. Anyway, Picard beams down, greeting people with Joe Lantru, which is a nice callback.
Yeah.
He returns to the convent, where he is more warmly greeted. He also gets to meet a grown-up Elnor, who's played by Ivan Ivagora, which sounds like a tennis player to me, but there you go.
You're thinking of Goran Ivanisevic.
Okay, well, this guy's an Aussie anyway. Not that his accent is particularly,
His accent
neighbours,
isn't
but
particularly
anyway.
anything. But I mean, Goran is a Slavic name, and he does look Slavic, and that kind of fits. They've probably cast someone with that look because it looks more elvish, and that was the vibe that they were going for.
Soji and Narek are sharing a glass of Romulan ale in the same designed bottle of Star Trek 2. Hey!
Wow.
Yay! She's guessed.
Wow. It's the same design bottle as Star Trek 2. You notice a bottle.
I know! It's very distinctive.
It's not let's get anal about spaceships. That was bad enough. This is let's get anal about fucking bottles.
Booze bottles, yeah.
Oh my life.
She's guessed he's Tal Shiar because he can go anywhere. And he takes her to a slidey corridor of slidey for funds because apparently they're both 3 years old or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a scene we didn't really need, but I suppose they're trying to build up the closeness of these two so that they can later have him betray her. Back at the monastery, Picard is wearing a jacket not a million miles away from his old away jacket.
I thought that.
Just without the red,
Yeah.
Similar to Raffi, Elnor is not impressed that Picard never got in touch, and so is unsurprisingly reluctant to follow him on some damn fool idealistic crusade. Sorry, wrong franchise again. JL then picks a fight with a bunch of grumpy Romulans.
Well, I like it though because it says Romulans only, which is, it's racist, so he takes it off and he goes and sits down as his act of civil defiance, which I like.
Again, he reaps what he sowed by not coming back for them, of course.
Yeah.
Elnor saves his butt by decapitating the leader.
I love that with the green blood as well.
Yeah, pretty gruesome for Trek, it has to be said.
Yeah, it is. And I expected him to come in and fight. I did not expect him to slice his head off. And also as well, you get sort of the line appear and then it slides off. It's really quite grim.
And you expect to say, "'Tis but a scratch."
Yeah.
Picard admits to failing them all and apologises, which is quite a sweet scene.
Yeah.
Upon being beamed aboard the La Serena, Picard bollocks Elnor for killing the Romulan, and we find out that these Romulan battle nuns only bind themselves to a lost cause, which seems like a recipe for extinction, really, but there we go. We have more worryingly close scenes between Narek and Rizzo.
Oh, ugh.
Turns out his brief is to find out where more androids like Soji might be, so that kind of makes some sense.
Well, their plan is obviously
wipe them out. All of them.
Yep. He has a week before Rizzo goes back to the same destructive plan they used on Earth. Then we get to see the pirate bird of prey, and sure enough, it's the original series design. Hey! Bit surprising they're still going after 130 years, but there we are. They obviously built them to last, didn't they? Gosh.
Yeah, but then also it's an impoverished warlord. The warlord isn't going to be able to afford decent bird of prey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised there's any of the original ones left, given how many were used up in Deep Space Nine.
Well, they didn't have to use any of that. I mean, by Deep Space Nine, the Romulans weren't using those ships. I mean, literally, he must have busted that out of a museum somewhere.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We also get to see the, presumably, EWH, who only speaks Spanish or Portuguese. It's the emergency weapons hologram.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's Spanish he's speaking, but I must admit I can't quite tell the difference between that and Portuguese. But yeah, space battles! Space battles is what we want. Then a new ship turns out to help them, and it's 7 of 9 who gets beamed aboard when her ship blows up. Nice ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice if we hadn't have known she was going to be in this, but they were blowing that trumpet very loudly before the series even started, so it was kind of easy to guess that she was turning up at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, great stuff. I enjoyed this episode.
I did enjoy it, but I also like the idea where, even though it's in the creepy brother-sister yuck scene, the sister says, how do you know that she isn't handling you?
Yes, that's
Why
a nice
is she
twist
on this cube? And that's a good...
Bear in mind, she says she is the destroyer, and it's like, interesting.
Yeah. But
Who's
it makes...
playing who?
Yeah, but given that she doesn't know that that's what she is...
Yes.
Who's manipulating her? Who's making her make these decisions and go to these places and find these things out? Do you see what I mean? It could be programming, but it could be someone manipulating from the outside. We don't know, do we?
Yeah.
So...
Cool.
Yeah. Very schools. I like it. And I like the elfy Romulan man.
Okay.
Eleanor.
No, Eleanor.
I'm going to call him Eleanor now. Sorry. So we think that Doreen wouldn't have liked the F-bomb.
No, that's gonna... And probably the decapitation would be a bit much for her as well. Well, let's find out, shall we?
Yes. Okay, this is the first episode of this new series that I've got very mixed feelings about. Storylines seem quite interesting, but, and this is a mighty big but, Jean-Luc just didn't seem like the Captain Picard I knew and loved as a teenager. I found myself disbelieving every word he uttered. I often wanted to reply, aye, right, or who made you God? And most annoyingly, he answered all of Agnes's questions about the criteria for a worthy quest that he had addressed to Elnor. Oh, that she had just... Oh, sorry, that's me misreading it. That she had addressed to Elnor. Agnes asks Elnor, and Picard replies.
Aha, right.
Rather than letting Elnor reply for himself.
Mm-hmm. Didn't bother me, that. But
no, and I didn't find myself not believing him. I think he was just upset.
Yeah. I think he's genuine. It's just, I mean, he's made some mistakes in the past. Everybody does. And it's kind of nice to see him humbly admitting it as well in that scene. So, yeah.
So I think he isn't going to be the same Picard you remember, because the whole point is... No, but he got changed and he got disillusioned and he's now carrying around a load of guilt and grief.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be the same, and that's part of the point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dory. And we've heard from the Llama God.
Lamagaslag, Scotty, Ficket, Ya, Jig, the man from Del Monte, he say, sorry. Right then, so we have another episode of Picard basically trying to sort out the mistakes that he made a decade or so ago, and that come as a consequence of his not being able to cope when things go wrong and just running away and shutting down, much like last week. So yeah, definitely there's some consistency in the character there at least. And thankfully, although you could argue that this is an episode where we're just getting more setup and backstory and things aren't really moving forwards, I think possibly just because of the change of setting and change of location, although yeah, we are mostly learning stuff, we are slowly inching forwards in the quest of Soji, not Saji. Sorry, last week I was calling her Saji, I was thinking of a character from Gundam 00, which I'm watching at the moment. Although we don't seem to be making much progress, the change of scenery and the things that we learn anew does seem to really help a lot, and this is actually quite a good episode. The main issue that I did have it though was a line that's uttered right at the start of the episode when Picard says of the young Romulan ninja, sorry I can't remember his name, was, it can't be easy being the only boy in a house of women. I mean, what, excuse me? What the fuck? Oh, okay, later we learn that it's because he's being raised by a sisterhood of warrior nuns, awesome, and being a boy he can't join them. So okay, it makes sense in that context, but the line on its own in isolation, that's a bit of a deaf line, isn't it? It's like, sorry, are you being raised by two women? Ooh, that can't be good, can it? It must be very lonely. Yeah, way to go with the representation front there, Jean-Luc. I mean, even on a personal level, growing up, a lot of my cousins were female. My mum would spend a lot of time with my aunties, and I with my female cousins. Yeah, I grew up around women a lot, and I guess the only damage it really did me was that it left me completely unreceptive to the standard male posturing stuff. Yeah, I've generally then found myself more comfortable around non-typical masculine people. But I don't see that to be a bad thing in any way, shape or form. So yeah, that's a very clumsy line, and I'm quite surprised they left it in. But that said, I do love the warrior nuns. That's a great idea. I love the fact that we're seeing different sides of the Romulan culture now. It's clearly not just this monoculture that we've been exposed to in The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. It's not just sinister plotting Romulans plotting sinister things in sinister beige rooms. No, there's other sides to the culture as well, which is to be expected. And yeah, okay, admittedly we're ignoring the Remans in that analysis of Romulan culture, but I think that's the only sensible thing to do, really. But it is good to see that there is this other side to it, and I guess we've seen very different Romulans before because they're the ones in power. So of course they're the ones we're going to see because they're the ones that the Federation representatives come into contact with. So it makes sense, and I do really love that we're seeing these differences. So yeah, no, that was really good to see, and it was also lovely to see Picard having such a warm relationship with these people, especially with the young boy, as we see that with age he was slowly mellowing in his approach to children and how he responds to people. And maybe that's why he ended up isolating himself so much, because he just learned to open up himself to that sort of relationship, and then suddenly to have it taken away from him by the cowardliness of the Federation. I guess I can kind of understand why he might retreat a little bit from that. So yeah, I guess that explains a little bit, but still, definitely a lot of good stuff going on the planet down there, apart from that one rather clumsy line. And by the end of the episode we have expanded Jean-Luc's ragtag crew just a little bit more, and we've also seen a Romulan bird of prey. I mean, I'm assuming you're excited by this, because that is obviously the classic design. Yeah, I know we saw it in the teasers, we get to see it more up close here, and yeah, it's great. It's kind of reimagined, but only in the way that Discovery reimagined the original Enterprise. It's the original model Romulan bird of prey, which I've always liked the very simple design of. It's a lovely little design, and yeah, just given an update for the 21st century, and it was really nice to see that, and some actual space combat as well. We got to see some space combat. That's great. I mean, admittedly, it was fairly short-lived. I did love Captain Rio's hologram tactical officer. That was bizarre, but yeah, this is a great running joke they've got there with all the holograms being just him, but with different personalities. So yeah, I think we need to see more of that. Agnes's character is also coming to her own a little bit more as well, and Raffi continues to be sarcastic and brilliant, and again, she's someone who's not shy on putting John Luke in his place, and yeah, we need to see more of that. So if nothing else, I'm at least looking forward to the adventures of this mismatched bunch of bringing going on. And of course, by the end of the episode, they have gained another crew member, although this one I suspect might be temporary, in the surprise form of 709, although it wasn't a surprise given that Joe Ryan's name was in the credits, so when that fighter showed up towards the end, it was obvious who the pilot was going to be. So it's a shame they really couldn't keep her name till the end credits, but oh well, never mind. I guess we've got that side of the story to look forward to next week. On the Romulan ships, things stay intriguing. There's a definite bit of incest feeling going on there between that brother and sister, and she definitely seems unsatisfied with his excuse that he's planted a seed. It's more than one seed he's planted, I'm fairly sure by this point. We didn't learn an awful lot there, except you do have to question, like his sister, whether he is actually falling for Soji or not. And the only other oddity I wanted to mention was that it occurred to me, and I don't know why I've mentioned this before, but the opening credits, it occurred to me in the very first episode when I saw this, is that the scenes of Patrick Stewart's face coming together from all the fragments of the broken galaxy and Romulan homeworld is quite unsettling, because that is basically a mirror or a reverse of how his Professor Xavier meets his end in the X-Men Last Stand, which is A, an unsettling moment in and of itself, and B, calls to mind X-Men Last Stand. Why would anyone want to do that? It's a really baffling decision to have that. But yes, aside from the rather bizarre opening credits, I am still very much enjoying Picard, and things are being set up. Things are slowly starting to get moving, so we'll see where they move to next week. And if you've seen the trailer for next week, it looks like things are going to be quite entertaining next week, so I'm very much looking forward to that. What I'm also looking forward to is hearing what everyone else has to make of this. And until next week's Crazy Caper, glory to you and your cast.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, I do think he has planted his Romulan seed more than once.
Okay.
With the only boy thing, I don't know. I mean, I guess they are living in a single-sex household, and so he is going to stand out. But I kind of took it more to mean only child as well, because they're all adults as well.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it could have been better phrased. I don't know.
And as Oh My God says, there's also the feature that he can't actually be a proper warrior nun for obvious reasons. So
yeah.
They don't appear to have a monk version. So yeah.
No, but even so, it does seem a bit. It did stand out for me as well. I get why he might be lonely, and I'm guessing that's going to feed into things. But I think perhaps the way the line is delivered is perhaps a bit clunky.
Mm-hmm. And yes, we're definitely getting far more depth to Romulan society than we ever have before, because, yeah, pretty much before they were just, the evil guys. But, yes, we get to learn a lot more about them. And it isn't all beige either, unlike when we did go to the home world in Next Generation, so that's a big relief.
Yes, it is. You're right that we're not seeing the Remans, and you're right that that's the only sensible thing.
Yes, no, I can do without them. Hopefully they were all destroyed when their planet blew up or something, so... yeah, hurrah.
Yeah.
Good choice. Excellent. Well, we don't watch the trailer, so we've got no idea what juiciness we've got next week, but certainly looking forward to the next episode.
Yep.
Feel free to give us your thoughts either on this episode or anything we've watched so far. But otherwise, we'll catch you next time. Cheery bye.
Cheery bye.
Freak out. You freak. Say she. Freak out. Freak out. You freak. Say she.
All music referenced is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
And we have a YouTube channel as well.
You can find the Borgcast playouts on Spotify for your listening pleasure.
Visit our Tumblr site at borgcast.tumblr.com, where you'll find images accompanying the episodes discussed in this cast.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Or you can contact us via Twitter on rev_org or borgcastammo. #Borgcast.
Oh, what a joy.
Shut it down!